listen. Practice. Speak. Practice makes you perfect.
If you are a dedicated language learner, you've probably hit that specific wall. You know the grammar, your vocabulary list is massive, yet when you talk to native speakers, you still feel like you're reading from a formal script. You feel correct, but maybe not quite connected.
Yeah, that gap. It's the difference between sounding perfectly correct and sounding completely natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's often the final frontier of fluency, really.
Exactly. It's like the difference between just reciting facts and actually building some kind of rapport.
Mm-hmm. And many professionals, people try to elevate their English for client meetings or teamwork. They discover it's not the big, complicated words that are the problem. It's often the small, everyday phrases they're missing.
75 simple, everyday phrases that act almost like social lubrication for fluid, confident conversation.
Little keys.
Yeah, these linguistic little keys that kind of open the door to genuine warmth and, well, human personality.
And that feeling you mentioned, feeling strange, even when you're speaking accurately, that's exactly what we want to help eliminate today.
Right.
The issue isn't usually a lack of knowledge. It's more a lack of functional social language.
Yeah.
And the secret, if you can call it that, to sounding comfortable, whether you're just making small talk or maybe even managing a conflict, it often lies in these short, simple conversational gestures. They signal to the other person, hey, I'm relaxed here, I'm approachable, and I kind of understand the unspoken rules of this interaction.
Exactly. We're aiming to move far beyond this sort of mechanical, how are you, I am fine, thank you. Because true connection, especially maybe in a fast-paced business environment, it's often communicated through shared feelings, subtle gestures.
Vulnerability sometimes.
Right. So our mission today is to really distill the power of these 75 phrases across the entire conversational spectrum. We're talking from the initial greeting through expressing how you really feel, navigating disagreements, asking for help collaboratively, and, making a graceful exit.
And think of this not just as memorizing a list. It's more like building a toolbox, a social confidence toolbox.
Yeah.
Our goal for you, the listener, is to maybe identify which of these keys feel right for your personality and your professional context.
Yeah.
Because honestly, incorporating just one or two new natural phrases this week, that can radically change how comfortable you feel and how readily people respond to you.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start at the very beginning then. Section A, the warm welcome greetings and small talk fuel. If that initial greeting feels stiff, the whole conversation kind of risks freezing up, doesn't it?
It really can.
So how do we open with, immediate and undeniable friendliness?
Well, that initial greeting, it's a low-stakes moment, but it can have a really high impact. Many non-native speakers feel they have to use a loud, formal hello, which, can sometimes feel a bit intrusive.
Right.
But native speakers often offer something much softer, like, hey there. Hey there. The word there isn't really about location. It's more a gentle acknowledgement of their presence. It signals, proximity and kindness, just a softer landing than a big hello.
So what's the boundary on that then? Could I use hey there when I'm meeting, say, a high-stakes client for the very first time?
That's a great question about the threshold. Probably not. If you're meeting the CEO of a major partner company for the absolute first time, yeah, maybe stick to a clear good morning or good afternoon.
Yep.
But if you're meeting an existing client you already know reasonably well, or, just engaging a colleague in the hallway, hey there works perfectly. It's excellent for that low to mid stakes professional rapport building. It suggests, oh, I'm pleased to see you and I'm relaxed about this.
Makes sense. We also have the efficiency of just morning.
Yeah.
It's the short version of good morning, right? Which makes it feel faster, maybe friendlier, less formal.
Totally. It's like a little verbal piece of sunshine delivered in one word. Ideal for those quick exchanges, maybe in the office kitchen or with your team right before a meeting kicks off.
Okay. And then the classic, the foundational query for casual conversation. What's up?
Yes. What's up? It's really crucial to understand this phrase is rarely a literal request for a detailed report on your current activities or problem.
Right. They don't want your whole life story.
Exactly. It's primarily just a quick check-in, basically an alternative to how are you? And the beauty of it, the sort of reciprocal beauty, is the equally low-effort, relaxed answer. Not much.
Not much, yeah.
That exchange, what's up?
Not much.
It's like a fundamental conversational tune. It requires almost zero emotional burden and simply affirms, okay, we acknowledge each other, all is well.
Simple. Okay, let's talk about a phrase that signals maybe a bit more genuine depth of care. How's your day treating you? The source material points out that this makes the day sound like a person, anthropomorphizes it. Why is that specific phrasing so effective?
It's actually a little masterclass in empathy, I think. By phrasing it that way, you make the day sound like this external force. It could be a benefactor or, an adversary. So you're asking if they are experiencing difficulty, not as they're difficult. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a subtle but important distinction.
It really is. It makes the person feel seen, maybe valued. It's definitely a step above just standard politeness, and it's a powerful tool for building trust because it implies you're actually ready to listen if the answer is something other than just fine.
Okay. Now, when you unexpectedly run into someone, maybe someone you haven't seen in a while, we have phrases that immediately kind of cover the time and distance, like long time no see.
Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful one. Universally positive phrase, isn't it? It just brings you right back together, instantly validating the relationship despite however much time has passed.
And its cousin, maybe a bit more energetic, look who it is.
Yes. This isn't just stating a fact. It's really an exclamation of delighted surprise. Imagine you run into an old work colleague at a conference, maybe in a totally different city. Using this phrase, usually with strong eye contact and a genuine smile, it just telegraphs immense positive energy. It's like an immediate relationship boost.
Okay, so we've greeted them warmly. Now we move into small talk strategy, the next essential step. Small talk often gets a bad rap, but as the source notes, it's that little bridge that lets people kind of gauge comfort levels before diving into maybe bigger topics.
Exactly. And the weather remains, perhaps surprisingly, the most universally reliable fuel for that initial bridge.
Still the weather, huh?
Still the weather. It works precisely because it's low stakes and it's a shared reality. We all experience it, right? So the classic phrase is simple and positive. Nice weather today, isn't it? It's an easy affirmative statement. It virtually guarantees agreement, securing that first tiny piece of conversational common ground. Even if you're just standing silently waiting for, I don't know, a project update to load on screen.
But the fun, as you said, comes when the weather is extreme. If it's really harsh, say, a massive thunderstorm rolling in or scorching heat, you can pivot to shared difficulty with, it's brutal out there.
Oh, yeah. Using a strong word like brutal creates this instant collective bond. You're suddenly sharing a difficult experience.
Right.
When you both stand there, maybe soaked from the rain, and one of you says, wow, it's brutal out there, you've instantly formed this temporary micro-community based on surviving, climatic hardship.
Yeah.
It shifts the interaction from just polite formality to something more like genuine shared humanity.
Yeah.
And that can accelerate rapport tremendously, actually.
That's a fascinating insight. The shared negative experience can actually create a stronger connection than a simple shared positive one.
Often, yes. Precisely. And then you have the playful rhetorical questions, the real icebreakers, like the joke, hot enough for you.
Right. You only say that when it's really hot.
Exactly. On a truly scorching day. It's not meant to be answered factually, of course, but humorously. It's this self-aware, lighthearted acknowledgement of the collective suffering. And it's designed purely to get a smile, maybe, or a reciprocal tired groan, which, hey, is a conversational victory.
It is. We also see some subtle phrases that frame the situation optimistically, even when the conditions aren't perfect, like contrasting the sort of environmental positivity of, we needed this rain, maybe after a dry spell, with the more hopeful visual phrase, sun's trying to come out.
Yeah, sun's trying to come out is wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It introduces a sense of agency, of hope. It makes people look up, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And it keeps the mood light, even if the clouds are still, dominating the sky. It's like a little act of collaborative optimism.
And finally, this section wraps up by extending that conversational warmth right into the goodbye, but tailoring it to the current environment. So if it's hot, you add that bit of care, stay cool today. Or if the weather's bad, especially if they're leaving to drive somewhere, you show concern by saying, drive safe out there.
These are small, but they feel like professional courtesies that are really deeply appreciated. They show you are actually paying attention to the shared context.
Okay, great start. This next section on genuine emotional responses. This is where the sort of technical skills meet the human element, I think. Here's where it gets really actionable for you, the listener. Section B, the honesty filter. If you only stick to, I'm fine, thank you, you're kind of maintaining distance, aren't you?
You really are.
We need the real answers that native speakers use to reflect their actual emotional state, even sometimes in a professional context.
Absolutely. Moving past that textbook default is just crucial for appearing relatable, authentic. So on the positive side, We have nuances of contentment. Pretty good, thanks, is arguably the most common and natural-sounding positive answer you'll hear.
Pretty good, not just good.
Right. Notice the use of pretty. In this context, it actually elevates good to mean something closer to very good. But crucially, it still maintains this humble, approachable tone. Saying, I'm very good can sometimes sound just a little too boastful, maybe, or formal in a quick check-in.
Okay. And then there's the quiet, sort of self-possessed confidence of, can't complain. I love that one.
Me too. It's such a humble content response, isn't it? It implies things are stable, you're appreciative, and importantly, there's no urgent drama to share right now. It basically says, life is acceptable and I choose not to dwell on minor grievances.
Nice. Which brings us to the fun, maybe more lighthearted answer, not too shabby.
Yes. Okay, we have to quickly analyze the word shabby. It literally means worn out, poor quality, maybe even disreputable.
Right.
So saying not too shabby is this humorous, almost self-deprecating way of actually saying things are quite excellent or things are well managed.
It's understatement.
It's total understatement. And this phrase immediately signals a more relaxed, maybe witty personality. It's a great choice for internal team conversation, but perhaps, a bit too casual for a big C-suite presentation. Use with context.
Definitely context dependent. Okay, now let's pivot to the honest, realistic moments when life or work is maybe slightly tough, but it's manageable. The distinction between the next two phrases seems really important. First, hanging in there.
Hanging in there is the authentic answer for when you're managing through a sustained, difficult period. Maybe you're feeling overworked, maybe there's family stress, maybe a big project deadline is just crushing you.
Yeah.
It's honest, but crucially, it doesn't unduly burden the listener with the details. It just says, this is hard right now, but I am enduring. It communicates persistence.
Okay, so how does that differ from its close cousin rolling with the punches?
Okay. That phrase is far more active, more resilient sounding. The image comes from boxing, right? When you roll with a punch, you absorb the impact by moving with it, rather than just standing rigidly and taking the full force of the hit.
Okay, I see.
So it signifies flexibility, adaptability, and active strategy for managing stress or challenges. When you tell a colleague you are rolling with the punches, you're signaling that you're not just surviving, like hanging in there. You're actively adjusting, you're being flexible, and you're prepared for whatever comes next. It's actually a pretty powerful image of professional capability.
Yeah, that deeper meaning makes it a fantastic phrase to use, maybe in a professional review or when describing how you handle crisis management or something.
Absolutely. But, okay, we need to spend some real time on context and tone, particularly with this next one, living the dream. The source notes this is almost always sarcastic. This is such a critical point of English social language.
Okay, so if I say, oh yeah, I'm living the dream on a day when, I don't know, I've had 3 meetings canceled and my computer just crashed, how do I make sure the listener doesn't actually think I'm genuinely having a great time?
Yeah, good question. You rely entirely on your paralanguage, your vocal tone, your facial expression, maybe your pacing.
Okay.
You must use a flat tone, maybe a slight sigh, or even a tired little laugh. Sarcasm in English, very often, is delivered by saying the exact opposite of what you actually mean.
Right.
It relies on this shared understanding that the reality, a massive workload, a chaotic project, is clearly not anyone's ideal dream. If you deliver this phrase cheerfully, you will absolutely be misunderstood. So use it with caution, but when you do it right, it establishes a very quick, shared sense of humor and solidarity, especially with colleagues.
Got it. Sarcasm requires careful delivery. Another interesting phrase that seems to require a careful risk assessment is better than yesterday.
Yes. This answer is a calculated invitation. It really is. It's like the conversational equivalent of leaving the door just slightly ajar. If you say this, you are actively inviting the follow-up question. Oh, what happened yesterday? So only use it if you're actually prepared to share a brief, digestible, but probably slightly sad or difficult story. It's a sign of hope, maybe, but also a signal that you're willing to move past the surface level if they ask.
Okay. We also noted the progress indicator, plugging along. Maybe less common, but still useful.
Yeah, plugging along is a great phrase for signaling steady, reliable, consistent effort. It evokes this image of continuous, sometimes maybe tedious work, just moving forward step by step, even if it's not particularly fast or glamorous.
Right.
So in a project update, saying something like, well, the testing phase is slow, but we're plugging along, it conveys persistence and reliability quite well.
Okay. And finally, let's quickly address the highly casual slang we noted. All good in the hood.
Right. This is a perfect example of a phrase that needs really strict contextual boundaries.
Mm.
Hood here just means my world or my immediate environment, basically everything around me. So it means everything is fine, relaxed. However, because of its origins in very casual, often younger, or maybe regional language, its usage is quite restricted. Uses only with close friends or very casual, familiar colleagues who you know are already using similar slang.
Definitely not with the CEO.
Definitely not with the CEO. Never use it in a client-facing meeting, or you risk sounding inappropriately informal, maybe even a bit dismissive depending on the context.
Good advice. Okay, we're moving now into Section C, building consensus and challenging gently. This feels like perhaps the most advanced layer of social language, the ability to show you're completely aligned or to gently introduce a differing viewpoint without causing, relationship friction.
Exactly. And when you are in agreement, you want your affirmation to actually add value, add enthusiasm, not just be a sort of repetition of yes or I agree. We have a whole spectrum of strong agreements here.
Okay, let's start with the certainty of exactly. That feels strong, maybe a bit formal. It says, what you just said is the perfect, precise truth.
Precisely. Compare that, though, with the casual energy of totally.
Ah, yeah.
Different vibe.
Totally different vibe.
Oh.
Totally. Carries high positive energy. And it feels more emotional than analytical. You tend to use totally when the shared sentiment is strong, maybe even enthusiastic.
Okay. And then there's the contemporary favorite, 100.
Yes.
Just the number.
Yes. Using a number, especially a percentage like 100%, it shows absolute zero-doubt agreement.
It's quite efficient.
It is. This phrase is interesting because it's relatively newer, isn't it? It gained traction partly through texting and social media, which often favor efficiency and maybe numerical hyperbole. Using 100 in a meeting, say, I agree with that strategy, 100, sounds confident, modern, but it's still generally reserved for internal teams, probably not for formal external correspondence. Again, context is key.
Always context. Okay, for true formal strength and showing high respect, we rely on couldn't agree more.
Yes, this is kind of the polite, respectful apex of agreement. It literally means your agreement is at the maximum possible level. It cannot go higher.
When you say this to, say, a senior manager or an important client, it conveys maximum professional alignment and respect. It far surpasses the casual energy of totally.
Okay. And what about showing that you actually share a mind with the speaker? We have, that's what I was thinking, which shows strong shared alignment. Or the very visual and expressive one. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, that's a huge verbal compliment, isn't it? You took the words right out of my mouth. It demonstrates synchronicity. It's not just agreement. It's an affirmation that your internal thoughts were perfectly mirrored by what the other person just articulated. A wonderful way to foster collaborative trust.
Yeah, feels good to hear that. Okay, now for the diplomatic tightrope walk. Polite disagreement. This is arguably one of the most valuable skills in professional communication, maybe life in general. How do we speak our mind while protecting the relationship?
Okay, the structure here is absolutely everything. The perfect soft start is almost always something like, I see your point, but...
Start with validation.
Yes. You must dedicate that first half of the sentence to validating the other person's perspective. You're essentially saying, okay, I have processed your information and I deem it logical. Before the but gently signals the shift, the departure. This really minimizes defensiveness.
Okay. For maybe master-level empathy, we can go even deeper with, I get where you're coming from, however...
Yes, this is critical, especially for challenging ideas that might be rooted in someone's personal experience or maybe their department's history or perspective. Saying, I get where you're coming from, shows you understand the experiences, the feelings, maybe the history that led them to their opinion. You're validating their perspective as a person, even if you disagree with the conclusion. It helps transform the disagreement from potentially feeling like a personal attack into a discussion about ideas and perspectives.
That's powerful. What if you want to avoid even challenging the validity of their idea altogether and instead just offer an alternative framework?
That's where the highly diplomatic option, I'd look at it a bit differently, comes in. Notice the softness. A bit differently. You aren't saying they are wrong. You're just offering an alternative lens, a different perspective. It suggests collaboration and maybe multiple pathways to a goal, rather than correction or confrontation. This is an essential phrase for maintaining a harmonious team environment, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, though, you simply haven't formed a strong opinion yet. You want to be transparent about genuine uncertainty. What are the best phrases for that kind of transparency?
Sometimes you just don't know.
Hmm.
Use the phrases that illustrate your internal struggle. I'm torn, or I'm on the fence.
Both visual.
Exactly. Both rely on clear visual metaphors. Being on the fence literally means you're stuck between two pastures, aren't able to commit to one side or the other.
Yeah.
This shows vulnerability, yes, but also transparency. It signals to your collaborators that you're thinking deeply, rather than just being indecisive or difficult.
Okay. And finally, when the discussion has maybe reached an impasse and you really need to preserve the relationship above winning the argument, there's the mature, classy tool for concluding an argument peacefully. Let's agree to disagree.
Yes, this is the social escape hatch. It really is. It's an explicit agreement that, okay, both parties have different, perhaps equally valid opinions, and the goal of the conversation now needs to shift from reaching consensus to simply maintaining respect.
Right.
It's a mature, high-level maneuver. It ends the debate cleanly and keeps the working relationship strong, which, let's be honest, is ultimately often more valuable than winning a minor argument.
Absolutely. Okay, moving into section D, the collaborative spirit. This feels like it's about showing strength through vulnerability, asking for help gracefully, and also showing powerful gratitude that really recognizes the effort of the helper.
Exactly. And asking for help effectively, it requires phrases that are polite, definitely non-demanding, and immediately respect the other person's boundaries and their time.
Okay, let's start with the classic idioms. We have, could you give me a hand? For just general tasks, right?
Yep, that works for physical help or just general support. But if you're new to a team, maybe new to a project, you often need the more specialized idiom. Could you show me the ropes?
Show me the ropes, okay.
Yeah, this phrase apparently comes from old sailing terminology, where the crew needed to know exactly which rope did what on the ship. So it's a specialized professional way of asking someone with more experience to teach you the basics, maybe the procedures or the internal standards of a new activity or role.
Okay. And you mentioned respecting their availability is paramount, so we should use a pre-request first.
Oh, absolutely. That pre-request, like, got a minute or do you have a second, is critical. You check their time availability before you make the actual commitment request.
Right.
This gives them an easy out if they're completely slammed, and trust me, they appreciate the consideration.
Right.
Then, for maximum respect when you make the actual request, use the softest possible structure. Would you mind helping me out?
Would you mind?
Yes. That would you mind structure is really the gold standard for respecting their agency. It makes it very, very easy for them to say no if they genuinely need to without feeling bad about it.
Oh, okay. I love the creative phrasing that also flatters the intelligence of the person you're asking. The first one is great. Can I borrow your brain for a sec?
Yeah, that phrase is beautiful, isn't it? It implies that their intellect is so valuable you only need to borrow it briefly.
Right.
You're complimenting their knowledge and their ideas, making the request feel more like a quick consultation rather than a burdensome chore.
Nice. And even more formal and targeted is, mind if I pick your expertise?
Yes. This one specifically recognizes their specialized talents and value. It works brilliantly in professional settings when you need very targeted input from, say, a specific colleague in the finance department or maybe the legal team. You're acknowledging their specific expertise.
Makes sense. And sometimes, for joint projects where you're genuinely stuck, just being transparent helps foster collaboration. I'm stuck. Any ideas?
Yeah, simple and direct. This invites them to be more of a creative partner rather than just an answer giver. It opens the floor.
Okay. And regardless of the phrase used to ask, you mentioned always signaling reciprocity to keep things balanced.
Definitely. The assurance I'd owe you one is a clear, simple promise to return the favor. It helps prevent the relationship from feeling transactional or becoming one-sided over time. It maintains that social contract.
Okay. Now, when it comes to expressing gratitude, we need to go beyond just a basic thank you to express real emotional impact sometimes. How do we convey scale, like a big thank you?
We often use hyperbole, but hyperbole that feels sincere. So, thanks a ton conveys a heavy weight, suggesting a big thank you that matches the perceived magnitude of their effort.
A ton, yeah.
You can also convey deep sincerity simply with appreciate it or I really appreciate it. This recognizes the value, the actual worth of the action they took for you. It makes the thank you feel less like a reflex and more like genuine recognition.
Okay. And if someone truly saves the day, maybe they fix a major presentation error just minutes before the big board meeting, we need the high compliment. You're a lifesaver.
Yes. It's emotional hyperbole, sure, but it makes them feel like a hero. It acknowledges that the successful outcome was perhaps entirely dependent on their intervention. It gives them credit.
Right. And to show that the kindness really touched you personally.
Like use that means a lot. This tells them directly that their action had a real emotional impact on you. It strengthens the bond far more than simply saying thank you again.
Okay. Finally, let's turn to gracious replies. When someone thanks you, how do you respond in a way that maybe minimizes your effort, makes them feel comfortable, and encourages future connection?
Right, because how you receive thanks matters too. We aim for low-effort, high-comfort replies. The super casual and chill phrase, no worries, is absolutely ubiquitous now.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It just means, hey, it was not a problem or an inconvenience for me to help you. It's relaxed. Very common. Then the generous and open option is anytime. That's basically an open invitation for them to ask again in the future. It signals that you value the relationship and their requests are welcome.
Okay. Then you have the humble and classic, don't mention it. That feels like it actively minimizes your effort to make the other person feel less indebted.
Exactly. It's a way of saying, please don't feel obligated because of this small thing. And for a fast, confident, reliable reply, you can use sure thing.
Sure thing.
Yeah. It signals, of course I was going to help you. It was basically a guaranteed positive response from me. Confident and easy.
Great options. Okay, we've reached the final hurdle. Section E, the graceful exit. Ending a conversation smoothly, especially maybe a spontaneous one, is critical for professionalism. How do you signal you need to leave without sounding rude or abrupt?
Yeah, this can be awkward sometimes. The key is usually to take responsibility for the departure yourself. The most effective signal is often, I'd better get going.
I bet.
Yeah. Notice the possessive I had, and the focus on your own need. You're making the departure about your schedule or your next obligation, not about ending the conversation because of the other person. That ensures a smoother, more polite exit.
That makes sense. And if you suspect the person you're talking to is maybe really busy or has pressing duties, you can show respect for their schedule by saying, I'll let you get back to it.
Oh, that's a highly considerate phrase, especially in a workplace environment. It acknowledges their potentially demanding schedule, signals that you recognize their focus, and makes you sound thoughtful and considerate of their time management. People appreciate that.
Definitely. And it's always good to keep the door open for future connection, right? Let's catch up soon. Feels warm and hopeful. It makes the goodbye feel less final.
Exactly. It promises future interaction, which is really important for maintaining long-term professional relationships. It keeps the connection alive.
Okay. And for quick, simple goodbyes, especially maybe when concluding a phone call or a virtual chat.
Yeah, you can use talk soon. Simple implies a continued professional relationship. Or for a more casual, cool closure with familiar colleagues, you often hear, catch you later.
Catch you later, yeah.
They're both fast, friendly, common ways to just conclude a chat without lingering awkwardly.
Wow. Okay. We have thoroughly traversed the conversational landscape today. It feels like we've covered, well, not all 75, but the essence of these keys to unlocking warmer, more honest, and more collaborative dialogue. You, the listener, now possess tools for everything, from opening with genuine care and using resilient language, to navigating disagreements diplomatically and making those graceful, courteous exits.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey through them. And remember the core philosophy here. Fluency isn't some destination you arrive at. It's really a process of gentle integration. Learning this kind of material, it's more like a slow dance, definitely not a sprint.
Right.
The goal isn't perfection overnight. It's maybe to choose just one or two phrases from this deep dive. Perhaps swapping out your default, I'm fine for trying, can't complain. Or maybe practicing that diplomatic structure of, I see your point, but, and just integrating them slowly until they start to feel natural for you.
Yeah.
Every small, intentional step you take is genuinely a massive victory in building confidence and authentic connection.
So what does this all really mean then? I think the true measure of advanced fluency isn't just about perfectly reciting grammar rules or, showing off the largest vocabulary. It's often about that subtle social and professional ability to manage complexity, uncertainty, maybe even disagreement, using phrases like, I get where you're coming from, or knowing when to deploy, let's agree to disagree. Yeah. So think about this. How might mastering just one of these highly diplomatic phrases this week completely transform a potentially difficult conversation you might face on Monday? Maybe turning potential conflict into collaboration. Keep experimenting, keep connecting, and keep growing.
We're the place, where we try to skip all the fluff. We ignore the textbooks, really, and just get straight to the stuff that helps you connect, communicate, well with genuine warmth.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling something I think a lot of listeners, the learner, find tricky. You might have all the grammar down, Pat.
Right. Perfect sentence.
Perfect sentences, but you still feel like your conversations are, I don't know, missing something, that real personality.
Yeah, that authenticity.
Our goal today, our mission, if you like, is getting past just being technically fluent. We want fluency and connection.
Okay, I love that.
Okay.
Because if you've ever, put together this absolutely perfect sentence, only to hear it back and think, ooh, that sounded a bit stiff, or maybe a bit formal, even cold.
Yeah, like reading from a book.
Exactly. Then this deep dive is really for you. We're not interested in, super complex words.
No.
We're looking at this specific set of, 75 small, simple phrases, things people often just overlook. The source calls them little keys.
That's a great description, isn't it? Little keys. Because when you use them right, they genuinely unlock the door to more natural, more comfortable conversations.
Right.
And the basic idea, the premise in the source material, it's simple, but it's actually quite deep. You could know tons of big, impressive words.
Right.
But if you skip these little everyday social bits, these lubricants, let's call them,
Okay, there.
you'll always sound a bit like you're translating in your head. Manufactured somehow, not really. Integrated.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack that. Why do these really simple short phrases matter so much? What's the secret there, according to the source?
Well, the secret, it seems, is that real confidence sounding natural. It's not actually about never making mistakes.
Oh, interesting.
It's more about showing you're emotionally available. These phrases, they're described as being full of warmth and personality. They're not just definitions from a dictionary. They're tools. Tools we use to show our social intention, whether it's care or maybe disagreement or just sharing a laugh without having to spell out, I am now showing care.
Yeah, just do it with the phrase.
Yeah.
I really like that focus on showing personality because that's exactly what you, the listener, are often looking for, isn't it? That natural, unscripted kind of flow. Now, okay, 75 phrases, that sounds like, well, a lot to take in all at once. So we should probably set the goal for the listener right now.
Oh, absolutely crucial. The goal is definitely not to sit down and memorize all 75 by tomorrow.
Okay, good. Phew.
The source actually reminds us, it says, learning is a slow and beautiful dance. It is not a race, which I think is lovely.
That's nice.
Our job today is just to listen, maybe feel the sort of music of these words, understand where they fit, and just find, I don't know, one or two from each section that resonate, that just feel good to you. And then maybe commit to trying them out this week.
Just one or two.
Just one or two. Every little time you try one, that's a huge step forward, a success.
Okay, perfect. Let's start that journey then. Part 1, opening the door, greetings, and warm welcomes. This is so important, isn't it? The first impression. Setting that comfortable, positive vibe right from word 1.
Absolutely. Section 1 in our source really hammers this home. A warm hello. It's almost like a little act of service. A genuine greeting, it says, can make someone's day better. But also, importantly, it makes you feel more connected right away, less, isolated.
Okay, so let's start soft. The first one we look at is, hey there. It's positioned as this beautiful, gentle alternative to a big, booming hello.
Yeah, hey there is great because it's so versatile. It's soft, like you said, gentle enough for a friend you see all the time. But it's also okay for someone you don't know well, like the person at the coffee shop or the mail carrier.
Or just a colleague you pass in the hall. You wouldn't necessarily say, hello, madam, to the barista, would you? That sounds weird.
Totally weird, overly formal. Hey there is just that perfect low-key nod. It acknowledges them without demanding, a whole conversation. Crosses that boundary quite nicely.
And then we've got the ultimate in just efficiency. Morning.
Ah, yes. Morning.
Yeah.
This is a classic sign of sort of being an insider, isn't it?
How so?
Well, when you drop the good, you're signaling, hey, we're comfortable enough here for the short version.
Okay.
That warmth, that little piece of sunshine the source mentions, it comes across just in the tone and the situation. It sets an immediate, casual, positive mood. Whether you're starting your shift at work or just seeing your family downstairs, it kind of says, I belong here, you belong here, we're good.
Okay, so we've done a soft open. Now let's get into what you call the conversational engine room, the classic exchange, what's up?
Right, what's up? The source calls this a little song between two people, which I quite like.
A song.
Yeah, because, crucially, this phrase isn't really a request for detailed information. It's more of a ritual. Super popular, very casual. It means basically, how are you? Or what's going on? But the magic, as we talked about, isn't just the question itself. It's the standard, expected, relaxed answer.
Which is?
Not much.
Not much. Which means, essentially, nothing major is happening.
Well, exactly. It means, life's ticking along okay, nothing urgent to report, and hey, I'm happy just connecting with you for this moment without needing a big update. It just closes that loop perfectly.
So the whole thing, what's up, not much. It's purely about establishing that comfort.
Pretty much. Comfort and connection. Both people know the score.
Okay, now here's one that gets really interesting in terms of showing you actually care. How is your day treating you? Using treating, that's quite vivid.
It really is. By making the day sound like a person asking if it's treating the other person well, you're adding this layer of what the source calls extra kindness, something that the standard "how are you" just doesn't quite capture in the same way.
It feels deeper somehow.
It does. It shows a bit more concern, makes the person feel genuinely seen and cared for. It implies you get that the day might be tough, and you're acknowledging that possibility, validating it almost.
Okay, switching gears a bit. Happy surprises, playfulness. The source gives us some high-energy options here. Let's start with one that maybe needs a little caution. Yo.
Aha. Yeah. Yo. Definitely handle with care. It's super short, super informal.
For close friends only.
Absolutely. Only close friends. And the source is really clear on this. You have to have a smile on your face when you say it.
Right. Otherwise.
Otherwise, it could sound a bit abrupt, maybe even aggressive. But with your best mate, it's just a fun, happy little verbal wave, pure energy, pure playfulness.
Context is everything.
Yeah.
So definitely not for that new client meeting.
Oh, God, no. Definitely not.
Okay, what about catching up? Phrases for that joy of seeing someone again after a while, like long time, no see.
That's a lovely one. It's beautiful because it just instantly bridges the gap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It acknowledges the time apart, but in a happy way. And it immediately pulls you both right back together into the present moment.
And similar energy with, look who it is.
Yes, pure positive surprise. You use that when you spot someone you genuinely weren't expecting to see.
And the energy kind of invites them in.
Totally. Your voice goes up, your face lights up.
Yeah.
The phrase itself is full of that welcoming energy, makes them want to stop and chat.
The source also gives us a really short, concise way to check in. If someone seems a bit down, you good?
This is like peak caring through brevity.
Yeah.
It's just the short form of, are you okay? Only 2 words, but the tone carries all the weight. You say it gently, kindly. It shows a lot of concern, especially if someone looks obviously sad or maybe just really tired. A colleague looks wiped out before a big presentation. You good? It's quiet. It's not demanding. It just shows you're there without making a big deal of it.
Right, without launching a full investigation.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about regional differences. I thought this was fascinating how all right changes completely based on how you say it.
Yeah, this is a brilliant example of tone being everything. All right is huge in Britain, obviously, but you hear it more widely now.
So how does it work?
If you say it with your voice going up at the end, all right, it's just a friendly, general hello, like, how are you, basically. But if you use softer tone, maybe a bit more level or concern, all right, then it's asking if they're okay, similar to you good.
Wow. So the same 2 words do double duty.
Completely. It's all in the vocal music, setting the intention. Very versatile.
And the last one in this greeting section for a deeper check-in, maybe if you haven't seen someone for a bit. How have you been keeping?
Adding that keeping just elevates it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds gentler.
It does. Extra gentle, more sincere. It shows you're interested in their well-being over time, not just in this exact second.
And the source stresses it's not being nosy.
Right. It explicitly says it's not a nosy question. It's just a warm, thoughtful invitation. Like, tell me how things have been since we last properly talked, but without any pressure to overshare.
Okay, wow. So that's 10 different ways just to say hello or check in. From super casual to really quite sincere. Now we've opened the door.
Yeah.
We need something to talk about.
Yeah.
So, part 2. Building the bridge, fueling small talk.
Yes. Small talk. It gets a bad rap sometimes, doesn't it? But in the context of this source material, it's really important to understand its purpose.
Which isn't deep philosophical debate.
Definitely not. It's that gentle conversation about simple, neutral things, the weather, maybe your surroundings. Its main job is relational.
Relational.
Yeah, building that little bridge, as the source puts it, between people, making everyone feel comfortable, connected, smoothing the social gears.
And the undisputed world champion topic for small talk has to be the weather.
Always the weather.
Starting with the absolute classic. Nice weather today, isn't it?
It's a classic for a reason. It's totally universal. It's positive, it's easy, anyone can agree with it. Your boss, a stranger at the bus stop. Doesn't matter. It's the lowest possible risk way to just make a tiny connection. You're agreeing on a shared, pleasant reality. Great starting point.
But, okay, sometimes the weather is genuinely awful, and the source gives us a really strong word for that shared complaint. It's brutal out there.
Using brutal for really bad heat or cold or wind, it's quite clever socially because it immediately creates this sense of shared experience, an instant bond, the source calls it. You're not just describing the weather, you're using that strong, slightly dramatic word.
Yeah, brutal is strong.
To show solidarity. You're basically saying, wow, we're both going through this tough thing together, aren't we? And sharing that difficulty, even a minor one, builds comfort really quickly. It's empathetic.
And to maybe lighten that mood a bit, we've got the playful icebreaker, hot enough for you.
Yes. This is definitely a lighthearted joke, and the way it works socially is key. The future relies on the fact that it's obviously hot enough for everyone. It's stating the obvious in a questioning way. It's like a little shared nod to the ridiculousness of the heat.
But delivery is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. The source stresses. You must say it with a smile, maybe a little eye roll or a chuckle. Otherwise. It just sounds like a really weird, maybe slightly aggressive question.
Right.
Like, are you complaining about the heat? But said with that light touch, it's just acknowledging the shared discomfort without actually complaining.
Got it. Similar vibe maybe for when you're fighting a gale force wind. Crazy wind, right?
Yeah, and the key word there is right at the end.
Why right?
That little tag turns it into an invitation.
Yeah.
You're inviting the other person to agree, to say, yeah, it's nuts, to validate your experience of struggling against this crazy wind. You're looking for that little moment of, this wind, solidarity.
It's interesting, though, not all bad weather needs complaining about. The source gives us ways to be optimistic, like we needed this rain.
That's a really lovely, positive reframe, isn't it? Instead of just, rain again, it shows a bigger perspective. You're acknowledging that, okay, maybe it's inconvenient for us right now, but the environment, the plants, the gardens, they needed it.
So it positions you as someone thoughtful.
Exactly. Someone who sees the good, not just the personal hassle.
And for a day that's maybe just gray and cloudy, not actually raining, there's that hopeful visual one. Sun's trying to come out.
I love the imagery in that. Trying.
Yeah.
It makes the sun sound like it's making an effort, like it's actively working hard to appear from behind the clouds. It's just a nice, quiet way to inject a little optimism into a potentially gloomy moment. Lifts the spirits.
Small talk often shifts from just observing to implying activities. Good day for the beach seems like one of those.
Definitely. That phrase instantly paints a picture, doesn't it? Sun, sand, sea, happy thoughts. And because it paints that picture, it naturally invites a slightly longer chat. Maybe about hobbies, weekend plans, what you like doing on sunny days. It opens up a new path for connection beyond just, yeah, it's sunny.
Okay, this section then cleverly links this weather chat directly into polite ways to end the conversation, depending on the weather. First, on a hot day. Stay cool today.
Yeah, it's a perfect little add-on to your goodbye, a caring thought. You've maybe just been talking about how hot it is.
Right.
So saying stay cool acknowledges that difficulty again and expresses a simple hope for their comfort. Hope you don't overheat. It's a small, kind gesture you can use with pretty much anyone.
And if the weather's actually dangerous, fog, snow, ice, we switch to drive safe out there.
That shows immediate practical concern for their safety. Because driving in really bad weather is risky.
Yeah.
So saying this just communicates, hey, I care about you. I want you to get where you're going securely. It's a very kind, considered way to say goodbye, especially if someone's leaving the office or a meeting to head home in bad conditions.
And the last one in this weather goodbye link, let's hope it holds.
You use this when the weather is nice now, but maybe looks a bit iffy. You see some dark clouds rolling in, perhaps. If you're at an outdoor event, or planning something outside, saying, let's hope it holds, creates this little shared positive wish. You're united in hoping the good weather lasts.
Right. So we've made contact, we've built a little bridge with small talk, but now we hit the big one. The question that seems simple, but trips so many people up. How are you? Part 3 is all about the real answers to how are you, moving way beyond just, I'm fine.
Yes. This is where authenticity really comes into play. The source material is quite firm on this. "I'm fine, thank you" is, well, it's correct grammatically.
Yeah.
But it often sounds like a closed door, a bit robotic maybe. Native speakers, it points out, have so many other colors in their answer box.
Huh, I like that.
Learning these different shades, these alternatives, is how you start to sound really natural, how you express your true feelings appropriately, of course, with social awareness.
Okay, let's start with what the source calls the gold standard, the most common, natural, positive answer. Pretty good, thanks.
Yeah, pretty good. It's kind of the default positive response in natural conversation. Interestingly, pretty good in this context usually means very good.
Oh, really? Not just okay.
No, it's stronger than just okay, but it avoids sounding overly enthusiastic, like yelling fantastic, which can sometimes feel a bit much.
Right.
Pretty good is friendly, it's warm, it sounds natural, and adding the thanks shows you appreciate them asking. It's just the perfect, simple, upbeat answer for most everyday positive situations where you're doing well but don't need to shout about it.
Okay. Then for showing your content, but maybe in a more humble way, we have can't complain, and the slightly funnier one, not too shabby.
Both great options. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Basically signals, yep, life's generally good, no major issues to report. It shows your content upbeat, but keeping it low-key.
And not too shabby.
That one's got a bit of humor, since shabby means sort of poorer quality or rundown. Saying you're not too shabby is a classic bit of British understatement, meaning you're actually doing quite well. It's lighthearted, modest, and often gets a little smile.
Okay, now we get into the really human stuff. The honest answers for when things are maybe a bit tough, starting with hanging in there.
Oh, this is such a relatable phrase. So honest. You use this when you're definitely not giving up, but life's throwing stuff at you.
Yeah, you're coping, but it's work.
Exactly. Hanging in there means you're managing, you're getting through a tough time, you're surviving. It's honest, which people appreciate, but it doesn't demand they listen to all your problems. It signals resilience without being a burden.
And related to that, another one is showing resilience with a strong image, rolling with the punches.
Yeah, that's a great visual, isn't it? From boxing. The punches are life's challenges, the unexpected problems. So to roll with the punches means you're adapting, you're being flexible, you're taking the hits, but not letting them knock you out. It's a fantastic answer if you're navigating, say, a really difficult project at work or just a stressful period. Shows determination.
Now this next one, this requires careful handling, apparently. Living the dream.
Oh, absolutely. 99% of the time, this is pure sarcasm.
Okay, so you don't actually mean you're living the dream.
Almost never. You use it when you're having a ridiculously busy, stressful, exhausting day. The complete opposite of a dream.
Right. Give me an example.
Okay. Imagine you're swamped with deadlines, the coffee machine's broken, you got stuck in traffic. Your colleague walks past, cheerfully asks, "How are you?" You sigh, maybe give a tired little laugh and say, "Oh, living the dream."
Okay. The tone is everything.
Everything. The source stresses this.
Mm-hmm.
You need that smile or the tired laugh or maybe a bit of an eye roll to signal the irony. If you say it straight-faced, people will genuinely think you're bragging or being weird.
Got it. It's about that shared understanding of the sarcasm. Okay, moving to more professional updates, maybe about work or a project. First, the optimistic one. So far, so good.
Perfect for when you're in the middle of something. A project, a busy week. It means up to this point in time, everything's going okay.
It's positive but cautious.
Exactly. It's hopeful, shows things are on track, but it wisely avoids making promises about the final outcome. You're not counting your chickens before they hatch. Shows competence without overpromising.
Then there's the one that suggests steady effort. Plugging along.
Yeah, plugging along paints a picture of consistent, perhaps slow, but steady progress, like a reliable little engine just chugging away, step by step.
So it signals dedication.
Dedication, continuity, effort. It's humble but positive, shows you're working reliably without needing fanfare.
Okay, the next one is interesting because the source says it's actually an invitation to talk more. Better than yesterday.
Yes, this one comes with a condition. If you say better than yesterday, you're basically putting up a sign saying, "Ask me what happened yesterday."
Right.
So you need to be prepared for that inevitable follow-up question. Oh, what was wrong with yesterday? Don't use it unless you're actually willing and maybe even hoping to elaborate a bit.
But it can be a good conversation starter if you do want to talk.
Absolutely. It shows honesty, signals improvement, and can lead to a more meaningful chat with someone you trust, like a friend or maybe your manager.
And finally, The super casual, maybe slightly younger vibe. All good in the hood.
Yeah, very informal, often heard in more relaxed or youthful circles. Hood here is just slang for neighborhood, or more generally, my area, my world, my life.
So it just means everything's fine with me.
Yep. It's a very laid-back, friendly way to say everything's okay, really designed just to be warm and maybe get a little smile. Definitely know your audience with this one.
Okay, that gives us a brilliant range of options for answering that key question. Moving on from expressing ourselves to working together. Part 4 is about the art of collaboration, agreeing and disagreeing. So crucial for teamwork, trust, feeling like you're on the same page. Absolutely. And agreeing effectively, it's more than just saying yes. It's about making the other person feel genuinely heard, understood, maybe even smart.
Right. It validates them.
Exactly. Agreement shows understanding. It confirms you're on the same team, as the source puts it.
Okay, let's look at strong agreement first, starting with that single power word, exactly.
Exactly. So strong, so clear. Total confirmation. It says, what you just said, 100% true. I reached the same conclusion. It gives the other person that immediate hit of validation. Huge impact, one word.
Similar vibe using numbers, 100.
Yeah, or 100%. Very confident, often quite casual. It means complete agreement, no reservations, not 99%, the full 100.
But quick and clear.
Very quick, very clear. Great for fast consensus in, say, a team huddle or a casual chat.
Now for maybe more formal situations or just showing maximum respect, couldn't agree more.
This one sounds negative because of couldn't, but it actually means the opposite. It means my level of agreement is already at the absolute maximum. It's impossible for me to agree more than I already do.
Ah, okay. So it's very strong agreement.
Extremely strong and very polite, very respectful. A really good one to use when agreeing with maybe a senior colleague or a client. Diplomatic and powerful.
These next two suggest you're really in sync, like you're sharing a brain. That's what I was thinking. And the very visual, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, both excellent for showing connection. That's what I was thinking. Implies you had the exact same thought, maybe even at the same time. Creates a really strong sense of intellectual alignment.
And took the words out of my mouth.
Even more vivid. And very flattering to the other person. It suggests they phrased the idea so perfectly, it was exactly how you were about to say it yourself. Makes them feel eloquent and deeply understood.
And lastly, for agreement, showing that team spirit. I'm with you on that.
Simple, direct, supportive. I'm with you means I support you. I'm on your side. Adding on that ties your support specifically to the point they just made.
Very collaborative.
Highly collaborative. Reinforces that feeling of being a unit, working together. Okay. Agreement is usually the easy part. Now for the trickier skill. Polite disagreement. This is where wires often get crossed, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. This is definitely an advanced social skill, and the goal isn't to avoid disagreeing ever. That's not realistic or helpful.
Right. You need to share different ideas.
Exactly. The skill is sharing those alternative ideas gently in a way that doesn't shut the other person down or damage the relationship. And the key, according to the source, is structure, specifically using a validation buffer.
A validation buffer. Okay, what's that? Like starting with phrases like, I see your point, but, or I get where you're coming from, however.
Precisely those. You start by acknowledging their perspective first.
But hang on. What if I don't see their point? If I think they're completely off track? Isn't saying I see your point a bit dishonest then? How do you use that buffer authentically?
That is such a great question and a really common concern. The key is the buffer isn't necessarily validating the content of their idea. It's validating the person and their thought process.
Ah, okay. Explain that more.
Saying, I see your point, or I understand where you're coming from means, I've listened to you. I can follow the logical steps you took to arrive at your conclusion, even if I don't agree with the conclusion itself. And I respect the fact that you thought about it and shared it.
Okay, so you're validating their effort and logic, not the idea itself.
Exactly. You show empathy first. Then the but, or however, gently signals that you have a different perspective to offer. It softens the whole interaction massively because you've shown respect up front.
That makes so much more sense.
Okay.
Reframing complete. Moving on to neutral acceptance.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Very useful. It means you acknowledge that their reasoning is, well, reasonable. You accept the logic or maybe just the reality of the situation they presented.
Even if you don't love it.
Even if you don't love it. It's a calm, mature way to sort of end that particular line of discussion without escalating. You're not agreeing, but you're acknowledging their perspective has validity. Very grown up.
What about when you're genuinely undecided? Showing that internal debate, we have I'm torn and I'm on the fence, both excellent for showing honest uncertainty. I'm torn means you literally feel pulled in two different directions. You see the merit in two opposing arguments.
And on the fence.
That's the perfect visual, isn't it? Sitting on the fence, not committed to either side. It shows you haven't decided yet. It's vulnerable in a good way and actually quite useful in collaborative settings because it invites others to maybe offer more information to help you decide.
Instead of just shutting down ideas you're unsure about.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation open.
Now, for offering a different view diplomatically, I'd look at it a bit differently.
This is pure diplomatic gold. Notice you're not saying your way of looking at it is wrong.
Right. It's gentler.
Much gentler. You're simply offering your alternative perspective. Here's another way we could view this. It shifts the dynamic away from conflict, my idea versus your idea, towards shared exploration. Here are two ways to look at it.
Okay. And then the humble correction, often needed when someone's learning or just gets a small detail wrong. Not quite.
So much softer than a flat no or that's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, much less harsh.
Not quite means you're close, but not 100% right. It allows you to offer the correct information gently without making the other person feel foolish or publicly corrected, especially in front of others.
Good for team settings. Then, for building on someone's idea, but needing to add a crucial bit. Could be, but here's the thing.
Nice structure again.
Right.
Could be starts with validation, acknowledging their idea has possibility. But here's the thing. Signals you're about to introduce some additional information, maybe a constraint or factor they hadn't considered, that helps everyone see the bigger picture. It feels collaborative, like you're refining the idea together.
And finally, the classic escape hatch for when you're just going in circles.
Yeah.
Let's agree to disagree.
The mature exit strategy. You use this when it's clear you both have fixed different opinions and continuing the argument is just going to cause friction and achieve nothing.
It stops things getting heated.
Precisely. It's a classy, peaceful way to say, okay, we see this differently. Let's stop discussing this point now and preserve our relationship. It prioritizes harmony over winning the argument, a really valuable tool.
Okay, that brings us nicely to part 5. Strengthening bonds, asking for help, and gratitude. And the source makes a really good point here. Asking for help isn't weakness. It's actually a sign of strength and, importantly, trust in the people around you.
Totally agree. But how we ask matters, right? We need phrases that are polite, friendly, and crucially, don't sound demanding. We want to respect the other person's time and make it easy for them to help or to say no if they need to.
Okay, starting with a real classic idiom. Could you give me a hand?
Give me a hand. Super versatile. It can literally mean physical help, like lifting something heavy.
Right.
But just as often, it's used for general help with a task, maybe hitting a deadline or figuring something out. It's always polite, friendly, invokes that simple image of someone lending their support.
For maximum politeness, really showing you respect their time, would you mind helping me out?
That would you mind? Construction is wonderfully soft, isn't it?
Yeah, why is it so effective?
Because it directly asks, would this cause you inconvenience? It frames the request around their potential burden. And that gives them a really easy, low-pressure way to decline if they're genuinely swamped.
Which paradoxically makes them more likely to say yes.
Exactly. Because they feel their time and autonomy have been respected up front. They don't feel cornered.
And speaking of respecting time, the absolute essential first step before launching into your request.
Got a minute? Oh, please, everyone, use this. It's just basic consideration. You check if they have a minute before you potentially take up 10 minutes of their time with your actual question.
Right. What if they say no?
Then you just smile and say, no problem, catch you later. Or, okay, maybe another time. It shows you're thoughtful and prevents you from trapping someone who's rushing to a meeting or deep in concentration.
Okay, now for some clever, flattering ways to ask for help, especially when it involves their knowledge. I love this one. Can I borrow your brain for a sec?
Haha. It's great, isn't it? Such a compliment.
Yeah.
It says, I value your thinking so much, I literally want to use your intelligence for a moment. And adding for a sec makes it sound like a very small, quick ask, minimizing the perceived commitment. People generally love hearing this.
Flattery gets you everywhere. A slightly more formal, but still respectful version. Mind if I pick your expertise?
This one's a bit more targeted. Picking someone's expertise usually means you want to ask them questions about their specific area of skill or knowledge.
It was good for asking a specialist.
Exactly. It shows you recognize their particular talents and you value their expert opinion. Very respectful way to ask for specific guidance, especially in a professional context.
For team situations, when you're genuinely stuck, being honest works well. I'm stuck. Any ideas?
Yeah, this is great for collaboration. Admitting I'm stuck shows vulnerability, which builds trust. And asking any ideas turns it into a joint problem-solving exercise.
Rather than fix this for me.
Precisely. It invites them to brainstorm with you as a partner, much more collaborative dynamic.
And for anyone new, joining a team or starting a new activity, could you show me the ropes?
The ropes, another great idiom. It just means the basic procedures, the essential skills, how things work around here.
So it's a humble way to ask for orientation.
Very humble, very effective. Asking someone to show you the ropes positions you as an eager learner, and most people are quite happy to help someone who asks so respectfully.
And finally, the little phrase that keeps the social balance right, signaling you'll return the favor. I'd owe you one.
Yes. This is important. It signals reciprocity. You're acknowledging they're doing you a favor, and you fully intend to pay it back in the future when they need help.
Keeps the relationship equitable.
Exactly. It's a polite way of saying thank you in advance, and it reassures them that you appreciate the help and won't just take it for granted. Balances the scales.
Okay, let's flip to the other side of that coin. Expressing thanks and replying warmly. Small actions, big impact here.
Huge impact. Gratitude is like social sunshine. Makes the other person feel valued, seen, appreciated.
Let's start with a big, enthusiastic thank you. Thanks a ton.
A ton is a unit of heavyweight, right? So thanks a ton just means thank you very much. It conveys genuine enthusiasm and suggests the help you received felt significant, casual, friendly, warm.
And for when someone really helps you out of a jam, the dramatic compliment, you're a lifesaver.
Use this when someone genuinely rescues you from a difficult situation or saves you a lot of trouble or stress, even if it wasn't literally life or death.
Right.
Calling them a lifesaver is a really memorable, high-impact compliment. Makes them feel like a hero. Use it sincerely when it fits.
And to show the help had a real emotional impact on you. That means a lot.
This one goes deeper than just thanking for the action. You're communicating the effect their kindness had on you.
How it made you feel.
Exactly. That means a lot. Says their help wasn't just practical, it genuinely touched your heart, made a difference to your emotional state. Deeply meaningful.
Okay, now, replying to thanks. We need to get beyond just, you're welcome, right? For a really relaxed, casual vibe, the source suggests, no worries.
No worries. Super chill, incredibly common now, especially in places like Australia, but really global. It just means, honestly, it was zero trouble for me. Don't stress about it.
Very easygoing.
Very easygoing, very friendly. Minimizes any feeling that you went to huge effort.
For a more generous reply, one that explicitly invites future requests. Anytime.
When you say anytime, you're signaling, I was happy to help, and please feel free to ask me again in the future.
So it makes them feel comfortable asking again.
Totally. Very supportive, very comfortable, builds that feeling of reliable backup.
For a humble, gracious feel, we have don't mention it.
A real classic. This one minimizes your effort. The implication is, what I did was such a small thing, it's not even worth mentioning or thanking me for.
Makes the asker feel better about having asked.
Exactly. Removes any sense of burden. Very gracious.
And the positive, upbeat reply. Happy to help.
This clearly communicates that the act of helping was actually a pleasure for you. It wasn't a chore, it wasn't a burden.
So it makes the whole interaction feel positive.
Absolutely. By showing you enjoyed helping, you make sure the person asking feels good about the whole exchange. Completes that cycle of positivity.
Right, we are nearing the end of the interaction. We've connected, chatted, maybe collaborated, shown gratitude. Now we need to wrap it up smoothly. Part 6. The gentle exit. How to say goodbye without awkwardness.
Yes, the awkward goodbye shuffle. We've all been there. These phrases are designed to signal your intention to leave clearly but politely, ensuring a positive final impression and keeping the door open for next time.
Okay, first up, signaling you need to leave, but making it about your needs. I'd better get going.
The I'd better part is key. It frames leaving as a sensible decision for you, maybe because of your schedule or something you need to do.
But because you're bored of them?
Exactly. And get going is just a softer way to say leave. It's polite because the focus is internal, I need to, rather than external, I need to leave you. Smooths the transition, no ego involved.
Then, showing respect for their time and the potential busyness. I'll let you get back to it.
This is maybe the most considerate exit strategy. You're explicitly acknowledging they probably have things to do.
Yeah.
And you're kindly releasing them back to their work or their day. It makes you sound really thoughtful, very aware of their time, polite and respectful.
Okay, now setting up the next interaction, keeping the connection alive. Let's catch up soon.
To catch up means, talk again in the near future, share news, see what's been happening. Using let's catch up soon leaves that door wide open.
Expresses a desire to reconnect.
A genuine desire, yeah. Makes the goodbye feel temporary, warm, and forward-looking. I enjoyed this. Let's do it again.
For something maybe quicker, more standard, especially in emails or texts, talk soon.
Short, sweet, simple, talk soon. Works perfectly face-to-face too, but it's incredibly useful at the end of calls, emails, texts. Just a general positive signal of intended future contact.
And the absolute classic, casual, relaxed goodbye. Catch you later.
Yeah, catch you later. Very common, very laid back. It's like, see you later, but maybe even less formal. Doesn't commit to a specific time or place.
Yeah. A friendly farewell?
Exactly. Perfect for colleagues you see often, acquaintances, friends. Easy breezy. And, wow. Okay, we've actually done it. We've gone through all 75 phrases, covered all 8 sections from the source material, from that very first gentle, hey there, all the way to the smooth talk soon or catch you later exit. You, the listener, you now genuinely have this complete practical toolkit, not just for grammar, but for communicating with your whole heart with real social warmth.
It really is a fantastic toolkit for building connection.
Yeah.
But let's just emphasize that key takeaway again for you, the learner. This was a deep dive, yes, a lot of phrases. But the aim isn't overnight mastery.
Absolutely not. Remember that lovely analogy. Learning is like a flower opening one petal at a time.
Nice.
Don't let this big list feel overwhelming or stressful. The real goal, just choose. Maybe one, maybe 2 phrases, the ones that felt good in your heart as you listened today.
The ones that resonated.
Exactly. Understand the context, the feeling behind them that we discussed, and just try them out this week. See how they feel. Because every single time you choose one of these authentic connecting phrases instead of maybe a more stilted textbook one, that's a huge win. That's success.
So, thinking bigger picture then, this source material, it frames all these small, everyday, expressive phrases as the real key to sounding natural in English.
Which leads us to that final, maybe provocative thought for you to ponder. If these tiny, often ignored phrases, things like no worries or saying living the dream with the right ironic tone or admitting I'm on the fence, if these are the true markers of natural communication, of social connection, of warmth, then what crucial social and cultural context, what layer of human interaction does a standard dictionary or grammar book just completely miss?
Wow, that's a big question. I mean, I think the answer has to be that shared emotional shorthand, doesn't it?
Tell me more.
These phrases, they're not really about the literal dictionary definitions. They're about triggering an immediate shared understanding of a feeling or a social situation. Mastering them isn't about vocabulary size. It's about mastering how to share your actual human state, whether you're feeling grateful or hanging in there or just genuinely happy to help.
That emotional honesty.
Yeah.
That fluency in expressing and understanding the subtle social cues embedded in these simple words. That's maybe the highest level of communication mastery there is. Using that shared shorthand instead of just relying on perfect sentence structure. Keep practicing with those keys, those little phrases. Keep listening for the music. And you'll find that door to natural English connection really does start to open wide.
Fantastic advice. Until next time, keep diving deep.